Welcome to Find the Thing. I am so excited to give this work to you because it's changed everything. The Find formula changed everything for me. And that made me be able to control my mind in such a way that I was able to be like, oh, there's more. Find the Thing is for you when you know you're here for more. You've already had that awakening of, oh, I'm here for more. I know that there is a greater path for me, that there is something that I'm meant to be doing beyond what is happening right now. What I've got is good, but there's this capacity and space for more, but you're kind of at maximum capacity a little bit. And you're like, I don't know how to fit it into my life. I know I need to apply. I'm sorry. I've got a really dry throat. I thought that'd be helpful. It's not. It's like that, like a hamster. When you can apply this in the way that I am delivering it to you, the clarity that you're going to gain on your work that you're here to do is going to knock you sideways in that I didn't know it could be this easy. And then once you have that awareness, your thing just drops into being. You know, when people say, oh, it came out of nowhere, it's because they know how to do this. They know how to do this. They know how to make space whilst navigating their capacity because you're busy. Like you've got a lot going on. So let's buckle up. Let's get into the work because the journey starts now. Now, you've heard this whispering or this shout of, I don't know what the thing is, but I know I'm ready to find out. And don't see this as day one starting out. Whatever you've created up to this point, you know there's another level and you want that. And you know it's screaming at you. And you're like, I'm ready. And we're here together. You have opted to be here with me, standing at the edge of something big. And I have this feeling too, like I'm doing this with you. The unknown, the unraveling, the remembering, however you want to define it. So Find the Thing is going to be a 10-day experience. It's going to be an adventure together where I'm going to show you exactly how to just do it when everybody else is saying, oh, just do it. And it's like, okay, how? I'm going to show you and why it doesn't always feel like the easiest option. I'm going to show you, not by overthinking, not by being in your head, not by endlessly searching for the perfect answer, but by doing it in a way that sidesteps the usual traps of perfectionism, overanalysis, self-doubt, all the things that every human that I know has and experiences. When we look at people who are doing it, we're like, we think that these things don't exist. No, they've just figured out the thing and where to put their emphasis and attention. And that's what we're going to be doing. So, because here's the thing, your thing, it's not hiding, it's not missing like your brain wants to convince you it is. It's just buried under layers of hesitation, under layers of old stories that create old actions. And of course, a dragon called Resistance, who is the main star of this show. You know, I love the characters. They save my life. They give me something conceptual. The dragon is going to do that for us. Once I recognize my dragon called Resistance, our job isn't to force our way to clarity, but to remove the rubble that's covering it. And that's exactly what these next 10 days are designed to do. So, how that looks practically, this is a doing first process, which I know we're like, no, we plan, we prep, we get, I know. But watch when you can see that it's the dragon that is that part of you. We do before we feel ready. We take action before we have full clarity. We move forward before we know exactly where we're going. Why? Because clarity is a thing you earn by moving, not a thing you get by thinking. I'm going to say it again for me. It's the clarity, the thing that we want most. If I just knew the route, if I just knew the way, if I knew it was going to work, if I knew it could just make sense, then I do it. But clarity is the thing you earn. It is earned by action, not the thing you get by being still and overthinking. The more you do, the clearer it becomes. And the best part, you're going to do this and experience it in real time because we're going to look for that dragon and he's a pest. So what to expect? Each day you'll receive a prompt, an action, a short reflection. This video and the next video, the day one video, they're going to be the meatiest. After that, it's like easy. You're going to know exactly what to do. It's going to be this fun experience of you being like, the work gets to feel like this. Yes. And then the realizations and the clarity that you gain, you're going to become obsessed with this. I've put a design to be done in under 20 minutes. The first couple of days are going to be that, and then it's so much lighter throughout. This means that you, with your seemingly maxed out capacity at the moment, get to do this alongside your actual messy, beautiful, full life. No waiting until the perfect moment. No clearing your never-ending, ever busy schedule that you will ever do, because there's never enough time. Because that's your dragon being loud. And we're done listening to him. So we do the work in our actual lives. The thing I'm obsessed with, the piggyback sensory hack totems from the Fine Formula, it's a way of doing that with the resistance and with the work. It's in our lives, it's not separate. So meet the dragon called resistance. Resistance is going to show up because it always does. It's inevitable. It's going to tell you things like, it's silly, it's not right, it's not going to work, you don't have the time, your thing isn't worth finding, actually we should just go after the thing that you want, not this bloody made up dragon thing that I don't want to be arsing around with. Your brain's going to come at you. It's going to try every trick in the book to get you to stop. And that's when you'll remember this. This is your dragon called resistance doing everything that dragons do. This is your number one sign that you are on the right path. You are doing everything perfectly. It is going in all the directions it should. You just don't have control of your dragon. You won't ever get control of your dragon. You won't see its nonsense for what it actually is, and you'll be dragged into believing it rather than seeing it as the nonsense. You don't need to defeat the dragon, because that's its other tactic. You've got to slay me. You've got to defeat me. You've got to shut me up. You've got to silence me, so that I don't think it's a horrible idea. I don't think it's silly. I don't think that I think I'm doing it right. Said my brain never. I think I've got so much time now. This is amazing. There's so much time. My thing is so worth finding. That's what the dragon's saying you have to do. You have to slay it so you believe the opposite of all the nonsense it's telling you. That's one of its greatest lies and greatest strengths. You just need to see it for what it actually is. Proof that you are onto something big. You found the thing. Your job, when you see it and you want to believe it's nonsense, because you do, I do, you got to keep going. You've got to see it for the dragon that it is. You've got to let it roll. You've got to let it throw a tantrum. And then you're going to do the thing anyway, because that's what you do. You're here for more. How are you going to win? Look at the words I lead with. Learn to show up messy. Your dragon's like, we're not messy. That well, you are messy. I am messy. But my brain tells me like, oh no, we can't just go into something new and be messy about it. Isn't it bizarre? Learn to want to show up messy. You won't want to do this. Your dragon will tell you, no, we'll only show up when it's not messy, when it's clear. That's the point. That's the point, that your thing is still your thing, because you're trying to tame the dragon. You're trying to slay him. You're trying to shut him up, and you will never. What you've got to decide is, this isn't about being perfect. It's about showing up, and that's it. And I'm going to learn to do that. How do you learn? You learn by doing. You learn by seeing that's my dragon. What do? Oh God, I don't listen to him, but he's loud and I just want to be in my head. Hang on, let me take an action. Let me get out of my head and into my life. Again, learn to trust the process. I've met nobody ever that's like, I love not knowing. I love this uncertainty. I love taking steps where I don't know where they're going to lead. That's my favorite thing. So nobody ever. The dragon leads in all of this. Your brain is going to try to convince you, you need to figure it all out first. So be ready. That's what it's done every single time that has kept you in this area, this thing you want different. That's why you're still here. Notice it. That is my dragon. Oh my God, he's so convincing. I want to believe him so hard. Clarity comes later. Clarity comes once you do. Clarity comes once you see that's my dragon and I'm not listening. Want to learn to be on your own team, to be kind to yourself, to be curious, to be willing to see what happens when you are open to the idea, to the mere notion that maybe you don't need to overthink quite as much as you do. Like, you know it cognitively, like I'm so in my head, but you're addicted to it. And so it just keeps going around and around, and you keep psychoanalyzing yourself, when actually, what if you all of a sudden realize that that was the dragon, and you are open to the idea it would be nice to be on my own team. You don't want to for some reason, and I don't get it. You don't want to, but the idea of it would be way nicer in my life if I was just kinder to myself. Be curious, be willing to see what happens when you start overthinking, and you stop overthinking and start doing. And the want to celebrate every step. Again, your dragon will say no. Your dragon will say, you want to celebrate that? Are you kidding me? Sheila over the road just published her first book, and I'm celebrating that I wrote a paragraph today. Yeah. Get a grip. My dad, get a grip. Isn't it amazing how that is still there? Every action you take is a win. You've got to want to celebrate this. The curiosity of, I wonder if I actually gave myself a little thumbs up, like a micro thumb up, every time I did something, would that send a different message to myself that actually doing this is a positive thing? Doing this is a good thing and something I should embrace? I think that maths would add up really quickly. Every small move matters. The dragon will say, no, it doesn't. You will say, oh, okay, but what if it did? And those small moves stack up faster than you could ever comprehend, especially when you're doing this work together here in this energy. The dragon will want to tell you all the ways you can't and how you mustn't, shaking his head hard at the mere notion of being messy and trusting and being on your own team and celebrating nonsense. The idea of teeny tiny steps, and it will go out of its way to convince you that it ain't even that much of a big deal. So why are you making such a big deal of it? Let's just be horrible to ourselves about this and crack on. And all of a sudden, the dragon's back in charge. You must decide if you're going to continue to listen to the dragon, because that's an option. We've done it for a while now. Or if you're going to start seeing its nonsense and challenging yourself to more. That if you're here, it means you want more. Cool. We're all on the same page. That's good. So your job, the first step in this, is to notice the dragon call resistance. So we're going to do it in real time right now. What is your brain saying? And if it's quiet, okay, cool. Like, enjoy that. Tell me what it feels like. But if it's not, what is it telling you are the reasons that this doesn't apply to you? The reasons that make your circumstance and what you're navigating so unique that if we were sat face to face together, you would take me through the plethora of reasons why that's cute, Emma, but let me tell you why it won't work for me. And you'll have them all laid out. I was the master, all the reasons why I couldn't possibly do anything different. Maybe your brain's saying, we'll do it later. Maybe your brain's saying, I'm not ready yet because I'm just navigating this big human experience that will never go away. Or maybe you're saying like, oh, this is a busy time. I'll just listen to it now and then I'll come back and I'll actually do it later. And that is the dragon call resistance, perfectionism just coming in and taking this experience from you entirely to add another notch to the things that you've done and not completed. And that's why you're such a, whatever it is, but for me, it's such a failure and a waste of space. Or if this is completely different and you notice that resistance, you're like, I'm onto you. I see you. And that is why I'm going to choose to step in this. That's your dragon. That's the resistance. And we're looking and we're seeing in real time, showing you right now. Catch it in act. And let's take a moment to just not turning this off and still being here and be like, this is uncomfortable and I don't really want to do it, because there's a lot of that in my work. If you don't celebrate that, it's like you instructing a puppy to sit, and then when it does and it follows your action, you smack it around the head. And it's just like, I am so confused. If you are going to the effort of still being here, when I'm asking you to go in and poking you in the places that you're like, oh, stay away, like that doesn't feel good, and you're still here. If you cannot take a micro moment to go, okay, well, good job. You're just smacking the puppy around the face, and you are not a puppy smacker. Like, I know you. You're not. So take a second to be here and be like, okay, most people didn't sign up. Even more people didn't even look at the thing. They signed up and then they didn't do it. I signed up I'm here. I'm this far in. I'm getting poked and I'm still here like that. Stand up. Go on. And you're not. Stand up and take a bow and feel silly. And if you're still not, why? Nobody's watching you. Nobody cares. Do it and take a moment to be like, okay, this is how uncomfortable it feels for me to celebrate myself. That's weird. Okay, that's cool. And if you didn't do it, you're waiting on Francis to give you a hard time still, and there is still time. Jump up, give yourself a little bow, celebrate. And if you didn't, you want to smack yourself. You want to smack the puppy. And that's maybe we'll check in at the end. Who did it in the intro video and who can do it now at the end? Maybe remind me of that. We'll do that. Remind yourself as you catch it in the moment and you do your own celebration. Maybe it's not a bow, maybe that's a bit over the top and that's me, but whatever it is, you mark the moment, because in the marking of it, you say to your brain, more of this, please. And the brain literally goes, what? I can do that just as easily as I can be mean to you. We can do that. Do you want to? Yes, please. That would be so much nicer. I would love to. The work is to catch it. If you don't catch it, you let it grow. So we think that we need to do something to stop it from growing, but a willingness to just catch it and be like, I friggin' see you, and not going and bouncing into your head to stay there and you just see it. It can't grow. It can't grow. When you catch it, don't let your resistance convince you to back down, and take action anyway. And challenge yourself not to make it perfect, because your resistance is going to be really loud. And that's the whole point. Just one small step forward, no matter how messy it feels, because messes are encouraged around here. We like mess. We like it to get crazy and messy, because in that mess, in all the threads and the weaving of all it, we get a golden piece out and we're like, oh, you can't even see the threads at the moment to pick the gold out to know what the thing is, because resistance has just got it all smushed in. Balance your strength. Now, remember, this process is about bringing balance to your already existing power. You've been focused on the things that come easy to you and that keep the dragon called resistance quietest. Now, we're going to strengthen both parts. So for a lot of us, we are very strong in our masculine, in our doing, in our thinking, in our organizing, in our figuring things out. We're all very good at being in our heads. But now the resistance lives inside the part of you that isn't as strong. And when we just spend our whole life strengthening, we've got a sword in this hand, and we spend our whole life just flailing around trying to fix, but we just end up circling in loops. So we're just cutting the edge of the unhelpful things, but we're not actually in it, and we're just spiraling and spiraling and spiraling till we get to the point of exhaustion, and then we're out. What we're doing is uncomfortable, but it is strengthening. It's like working out muscles that you haven't worked out for a really bloody long time, probably not this lifetime. So it's going to feel uncomfortable. But as we strengthen this side that resistance has been like, no, you're strong on this side. Like, let's keep going here, and it will push you. You will see something where resistance is high, and you'll go, oh, that was hard and high to get. And you go, oh, I don't want to go towards it. But a willingness to take action, now all of a sudden you're like, oh, I'm getting some strength here. Okay, this was good. And you celebrate it, and you send that memo of, let's keep doing this. Let's keep growing until we're always wanting to max this strength. The people I work with have ridiculous amounts of power and strength, and if I'm going, I'm doing it, and no matter what. We want to bring a balance in, so we match that. Can you imagine if every time you see resistance, you know exactly what to do with it, and you're like, boom, gone by, and you take action? Just like a steam train. With that strength and building this up, it's going to be like a steam train. To be able to get to that steam train that you want to be at on day one, which is not possible, you have to take small, messy action and feel that power growing. That's the only way. So we get to invite a daily flow. I know your capacity is maxed out. I know the idea of you even watching this, you're like, well, I'll fit it in now. And if it doesn't inspire, like, it's gone, it's out, because I've got too much to be navigating. I'm going to work with you. I'm going to bring myself into your fold and flow into you, not the other way around. Action, reflection, balance. Each day's exercise will challenge you to take an imperfect action whilst you're in your world, while reflecting on the resistance. And it isn't about doing everything perfectly, remember. It's about noticing, shifting, moving forward with a story to tell of, this is what my dragon said, so this is what I did. And notice how they're very different. It said this, it said don't, we haven't got enough time, so I took an action and this is what I did. And we're not even looking for the outcome of that action, which is where the mind wants to go. So what was the point? The point is you are building so much bloody strength here that the clarity is just going to collapse. That's the point. Yeah, but I want it now. You won't get it now because you're so desperate for it now. And there's this condition on it. If I don't get it now, I'm just going back to the way I always do things. Survival, steamroll, keep going, just get the things I know I've got to be done, and land into bed and think, well, is this what my life is going to be? Or notice the resistance. Notice that it's there. This is what my dragon said. And so this is what I did. And notice how they're very different. Boom. There's going to be, to inspire this, there's going to be daily Telegram prompts. So I'm going to guide you through the prompts in the Telegram group, which is where we're going to be keeping the energy alive. And I'm going to be there cheering you on every single day. For the next 10 days, there is going to be something in there that is going to inspire you to see the dragon, to go out into your life and be like, okay, life is busy, but also, where is that bloody dragon? I'm going to let you guys know. I'm going to come into Telegram and I'm going to let you go, because every time you share something, it shows everybody else we can do this. And every time you're honest and you share your struggle, I hope you feel that from me. I'm still doing this work every single day. There's that feeling of like, oh, perfect doesn't have to exist. There is a messy way to do this. I'm going to figure that out. If you want supercharged results, every time you show up, even in the messiest form, that's the shift that we're looking for. So that's the entire point of this exercise. So you're going to gain positive lived experience that your dragon called resistance isn't as helpful as it's been making out. The only way you get hard, tangible evidence is taking hard, tangible action. So every time you see the resistance, you notice what it's telling you, and you do something else that leaves you in a cold sweat that you don't enjoy, that you don't want to do. Like, no, all of that is very real. Oh, you create space, and it's in that space that your work is able to film. Evidence. Building evidence shows you, in fact, tangibly, it's only been the dragon called resistance that has been spoiling every opportunity that is yours and all things good. And that's the only reason the magic isn't in your world 24/7 right now. This is the secret to moving from pretty great, things are good, like I've got a lot to be grateful for, to how is this my life? This is still human. Please don't ever think that humanness isn't part of it, but literally, how is this my life? How am I navigating my life from this place? And feeling this unstoppability no matter what, everything tangible, the nonsense of being human, you're just like, okay, and we'll deal with it, because I know that dealing with this without letting my dragon called resistance lead it will strengthen me to match this in ways that I'm completely and utterly unstoppable. Why this works. So you're already amazing. Like, you know this. You are already strong in so many areas. But being able to see a dragon called resistance for what it is means you are going to be unstoppable. So it's about balancing strengths, bringing equal energy, transforming the resistance into a tool, and directing and creating the next level of your work. Resistance isn't the enemy. It's so easy to think it is. But resistance is there to strengthen you. What do you need when you go to the gym? You need weights to push up against. What do you need to create a fire? You need to create resistance between two objects for that spark to happen. You've got it wrong. Well, the brain has convinced you that you've got it wrong. You think resistance means that you're wrong, but actually, the harder the resistance, the more fierce the resistance is that's pushing against you, the more of a spark, the more you're going to train yourself to be unstoppable and so strong. So start looking at your dragon as your buddy, as your workout partner. Listening to it though, listening to it in words, in your head, trying to have a conversation with it, trying to rationale with it, is always going to keep you locked in the exact same karmic circles that are the reason that you said, fuck it, I'll try this. Like, what's my thing? Listening to its resistance and trying to pacify it and trying to have a conversation and trying to work it out and trying to gain some clarity to do the things. That's why you are where you've been in this area up until now. Understanding where it's loudest serves as a compass that points you toward your next move. And the more you balance the muscles you've been kind of neglecting, the more effortless this process is going to feel. I never in a million years thought I'd ever use the word easy for my life, ever, ever. And now it is just a standard part. Final thoughts. Today's the day. Today's the day that we start dancing with the dragon called resistance. And we're not letting it hold us back any longer. We're going to be using it intensely as a vision for where you're being called to step next. Now, make your way to the next video. And there is also a play sheet to dive into for day one. And we're going to start bringing balance to that powerhouse and that strength that you already are. If you are not part of the 10-day experience and you're watching this video somewhere and you're like, I want to be part of this, there will be future rounds of this that you get to be part of. So please send me a message at More Than This by Emma Upton on Instagram, and I will get the details over to you for how you get to join this experience. It might be just about to start like now. So if it is, then message me and we'll see if we can sneak you in. That would be amazing. So we're going to supercharge your work in the most unimaginable ways. And the best bit is, this is just the beginning. The revelations you're going to have in these 10 days are going to blow your mind. And this is just the start. Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you steady? Let's go.